You see, most people spend their entire lives chasing money as if it's some distant prize waiting at the end of a long, winding road. But here's a secret that's rarely spoken. Wealth isn't just a number in your bank account. It's a mindset, a discipline, and above all, a philosophy about life itself. While 97% of people are trapped in a cycle of scarcity and struggle, the 3% have unlocked a profound truth that financial freedom is not about how much you make, but how you think, act, and grow every single day. The difference is not luck. It's not education or connections. It's a way of seeing the world, a way of understanding your own worth, your own power, and the invisible forces that shape your financial destiny. Today, I want to take you beyond the surface, not just to learn how to make money, but to learn how to think like the wealthy, so that your actions follow and your results change forever. Because here's the thing, poverty begins in the mind, long before it shows up in your wallet. And wealth begins the moment you decide to step off the beaten path and rewrite the story you've been telling yourself about money. Are you ready to discover why the masses stay broke and how you can join the few who break free? Then listen closely, because this might just be the most important conversation you'll ever have. Let me tell you something simple but powerful. If you ever want to build wealth, real wealth, not just bigger bills and a fancier lifestyle, you got to pay yourself first. That's the first law. That means before you pay the landlord, the grocer, the tax man, or even the light bill, you must honor your future self. Now, I know what some folks say, but I don't make enough. Well, let me tell you, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. And more importantly, what you do with what you keep. You see, wealth doesn't respond to income, it responds to discipline. Let's take an example. You get a check. It's not $1 million. Maybe it's just $500 for the week. Most people look at that and immediately start subtracting. Rent, groceries, gas, weekend plans. By the time they're done, they might think, well, maybe next month I'll save. But the wealthy flip that equation. They subtract their future first. They take 10%, sometimes 15%, and tuck it away. Savings, investments, a little gold perhaps, and only then do they let the rest go to work, paying for life. I learned this lesson when I was broke, sitting at a little table with just a few dollars and too many bills. My mentor said to me, don't wait to have more to start. Start with what you have, and you'll have more. So I began with just $1 out of $10. Seems small, seems silly, but that little habit taught me ownership. I stopped being a servant to my money and started becoming its master. You've got to tell your money where to go instead of asking where it went. And let me say this, paying yourself first isn't selfish, it's responsible. It's not about hoarding money, it's about planting it. Every dollar you save or invest is a worker on your team. And the question is, are you sending those workers out into the world to bring you back a return? Or are you spending them all on temporary pleasures and wondering why nothing changes? So here's what I tell anyone ready to leave that 97% behind. The day you decide that your future is worth more than that extra coffee or a new gadget, you step into the world of the 3%, not because you earn more, but because you think better. There's a truth many don't want to face. Most people spend money emotionally. They buy what feels good in the moment. A fancy coffee, the latest gadget, a night out with friends. These purchases provide relief, a quick fix for stress or boredom. But that relief is fleeting, and when the money is gone, so is the comfort. This is why so many stay stuck, perpetually chasing their next temporary high with dollars that could have built something lasting. The 97% often live paycheck to paycheck because their spending is guided by feelings, not foresight. Contrast that with the mindset of the 3%. These folks don't just spend, they invest. And investing isn't always about the stock market or complicated financial jargon. It's about intention. It's about seeing every dollar as a soldier marching toward a goal. Whether that's retirement, education, or financial freedom, it's about buying freedom, not just relief. This difference in thinking separates the broke from the wealthy. When a 3% orders a coffee, it's not because they don't want one, but because they've already asked, will this purchase bring me closer to, or farther from my goals? That's a powerful question. I remember early in my career when money was tight, I was tempted to spend on things that made me feel good in the moment. But I saw men and women around me who didn't necessarily make more, but who had a different habit. They paused before every purchase. They asked themselves if what they were about to buy would serve their future or just satisfy an emotional urge. And you know what? That habit paid off. They had money saved, investments growing, and options I didn't have. Spending intentionally means you know your priorities, and you don't let fleeting feelings dictate your financial decisions. It's about control, discipline, and vision. The 3% understand that wealth is built not just on income, but on what you do with it. Every dollar either builds your freedom or someone else's. It's as simple and as profound as that. If you want to be in the 3%, begin today by shifting how you think about your money. Don't spend just because you feel like it. Spend because you've decided where your money's loyalty lies. The moment you do that, you start building a legacy, not just a lifestyle. And that's the difference between the broke and the free. You see, one of the biggest reasons people stay broke isn't because they don't earn enough, but because they don't know where their money goes. It slips through their fingers like water, unnoticed and unchecked. The 97% often live in the dark about their finances. They guess, hope, and hope some more. But wealth isn't built on guesswork. It's built on relentless clarity. I've met countless folks who are frustrated with their financial situation, but refuse to track a single cent. They'd say things like, I don't want to obsess over money, or I'll just figure it out. The truth is, you can't manage what you don't measure. It's like trying to steer a ship without a compass. You might think you're heading in the right direction, but without clear data, you're just drifting. The 3% know exactly where every dollar is going. Not because they want to micromanage, but because clarity gives power. It allows them to see where they're bleeding money and where they can save or invest more. Tracking isn't about fear or deprivation. It's about empowerment. It's about creating a habit of awareness. When I first began managing my money, I started a simple practice, a financial journal. Every week I wrote down what I earned, what I spent, what I saved, and what I invested. Sometimes it was uncomfortable. I saw habits that weren't serving me, money going to things I didn't even remember buying. But this clear picture helped me course correct. And here's the thing, what gets tracked gets transformed. Once you start logging your financial flow, you naturally begin to make better decisions. You notice patterns like eating out too much or impulsive online shopping. Awareness alone creates the desire to improve. Then, with clear numbers in front of you, you can set realistic goals and hold yourself accountable. Don't wait to feel ready or to have a big income. Start today with whatever you have. Use a notebook, a spreadsheet, or an app. Whatever works for you. The key is consistency. Track your money weekly, review it honestly, and adjust. Over time, this habit becomes your financial foundation. If you want to move from being part of the 97% to the 3%, get ruthless with clarity. Know where every dollar goes and you'll know where your future lies. This is the starting point of real financial freedom. There's a common misconception that working harder and longer hours will automatically lead to greater wealth. Many in the 97% fall into this trap, thinking that sheer effort is the key to financial freedom. But the truth is, effort alone is often the slowest path to success. What really moves the needle is increasing your value, not just your effort. I remember early in my career, I worked long hours, punching the clock, thinking that if I just put in more time, the money would come. But then I realized something important. People don't pay for hours, they pay for value. If you spend 10 hours doing something anyone can do, that's different than spending 10 hours delivering something unique, something people want, something they can't get anywhere else. The wealthy understand this principle deeply. They invest in themselves by developing skills that command higher returns. It's about sharpening your communication so you can persuade and inspire. It's about learning leadership so you can guide others towards shared goals. It's about mastering sales so you can create opportunity. It's about gaining financial literacy so your money works for you. These are skills that compound over time, much like money in a good investment. Instead of chasing more hours, focus on becoming more valuable. That means continuous learning, stepping outside your comfort zone and embracing challenges that stretch your abilities. When you develop these skills, you don't just earn more money, you open doors to opportunities that wouldn't have been available otherwise. Remember, money follows value. If you can solve a bigger problem or create more impact, the rewards will follow naturally. So stop counting hours. Instead, ask yourself, what skill can I develop today that will make me indispensable tomorrow? What value can I add that others overlook? When you shift your mindset from effort to value, you align yourself with the thinking of the 3%, and that's when wealth really starts to flow. Success in building wealth is rarely about a sudden dramatic change or a heroic act of willpower. It's about doing ordinary things extraordinarily well and consistently over time. The difference between the 97% who struggle and the 3% who build lasting wealth often comes down to systems. Simple, automatic processes that keep money working for you even when your motivation wavers. I've seen it countless times. People start with the best intentions to save or invest, but life happens. Bills pile up, distractions arise, and that strong resolve fades. The 3% understand this and don't leave their financial future to chance or sheer discipline. Instead, they build systems that remove the guesswork and the need for constant decision-making. One of the most powerful tools is automation. Set up automatic transfers so that a portion of your income goes directly into savings or investment accounts before you even see it. This way you pay yourself first without having to remind yourself every month. It's like planting seeds regularly in a garden. You don't have to think about each seed, you just water and nurture them over time. Using technology, budgeting apps or spreadsheets to track your finances adds another layer of control and clarity. These tools help you see where your money's going, where you can cut back, and how much you're growing your wealth. The 3% rely on these insights to make informed decisions rather than emotional impulses. Another system is the practice of dollar-cost averaging, buying assets consistently regardless of market conditions. This removes the stress of timing the market and makes investing a habit rather than a gamble. Over years, these small, regular investments compound and grow far beyond what sporadic emotional decisions can achieve. I recall a time when I set up automatic investments early in my career. I wasn't making much, but by automating, I forced discipline and consistency. Years later, those modest automatic contributions turned into a significant nest egg, all because I let systems do the heavy lifting. Relying solely on discipline is a losing game. It's unpredictable and drains your energy. But systems work quietly, day in and day out, quietly building momentum until success becomes inevitable. So don't wait for motivation or willpower to strike. Build systems that serve you. Automate your savings, automate your investments, automate your financial tracking. This is how the 3% build wealth. Not by luck, but by design. Wealth doesn't arrive overnight, nor is it the product of a single grand gesture. It's crafted in the quiet, consistent moments, the micro decisions we make day after day. The 3% understand this truth deeply, turning simple financial disciplines into rituals that shape their destiny. They know that success isn't about luck or a sudden windfall. It's about steady, deliberate actions repeated without fail. Think about how often do we dismiss small habits because they seem insignificant, yet it's those small, almost invisible choices that create the foundation for financial freedom. Reading just 10 pages of a financial book daily is not about becoming an expert overnight. It's about cultivating a mindset of growth and understanding. Knowledge compounds just like money, and each page turned is a step closer to mastery. Reviewing your financial goals every morning may seem trivial, but it sets the tone for your entire day. It reminds you of what you're working toward and keeps your focus sharp. It's easy to get distracted by daily stresses, but this simple ritual grounds you in your purpose and priority. Investing every payday, even if it's a small amount, is a powerful habit. It reinforces the principle of paying yourself first and keeps your money working consistently. Over time, these contributions grow exponentially, thanks to compound interest. Remember, it's not the size of the investment that matters initially, but the habit of investing regularly. Cutting one unnecessary expense a week is another subtle but impactful discipline. It's not about deprivation, but about conscious spending and prioritization. The 3% constantly evaluate where their money goes, and redirect funds from fleeting pleasures to long-term growth. From my own life, I recall when I began paying attention to these daily rituals. I wasn't rich then, but I committed to learning, reviewing goals, investing consistently, and trimming expenses. Those small steps seemed modest at first, but over years, they transformed my financial landscape. If you want to build wealth, don't wait for the perfect moment or massive resources. Focus on what you can control, your daily habits. These simple disciplines practiced faithfully become your spiritual rituals and the building blocks of your success. Wealth is not an event, it's a process, shaped by what you do every single day. Financial independence isn't a fancy phrase. It's the ability to live comfortably from the income your own efforts and resources generate. If you rely on just one paycheck, you're standing on one leg in a storm. It's unstable and risky. The 3% know this truth well and build their financial houses on multiple pillars. Job income alone won't carry you to lasting wealth. You need more than one source of cash flow. Imagine your income like a table with 4 legs. Your job, your investments, business ventures and royalties, or passive income. The stronger and more balanced those legs are, the steadier your financial future becomes. Relying on just one source is like putting all your eggs in one basket, and baskets break. You don't have to start with all 4 legs at once. Begin where you are, perhaps by building a side hustle or learning about investments. A side hustle isn't just a way to earn extra money. It's an education in entrepreneurship, discipline, and creativity. It teaches you how to create value independently from your job. Even small investments, made consistently, grow and diversify your income streams over time. The beauty of multiple income streams is that they protect you. If one leg falters, say a job loss or economic downturn, your other income sources keep you stable. This freedom to withstand setbacks is what separates the 3% from the 97%. They don't depend on luck or a single paycheck. They build resilience. I remember the early days when I started developing other income streams beyond my main job. It wasn't easy. It took time, patience, and learning, but those efforts paid off by giving me choices and security I never had before. When one door closed, others were already open. If you want to control your future, don't put all your hope in one paycheck. Build multiple streams of income, no matter how small they start, and watch your financial stability grow. It's not just about making money. It's about creating a foundation strong enough to support the life you want. Wealth is freedom, and freedom comes from having many sources feeding your financial garden. Formal education might teach you how to earn a living, but it's self-education that will teach you how to make a fortune. The difference between the 97% who stay broke and the 3% who build wealth is not just in their bank accounts, it's in what they choose to feed their minds every day. Wealth isn't just a number, it's a mindset, cultivated through constant learning and growth. When I started out, I realized quickly that if I wanted to change my financial future, I had to change what I consumed mentally. Most people spend their time on entertainment, distractions that keep their minds passive and unfocused. The wealthy, however, spend their time studying the game, reading books on money, listening to financial experts, and observing successful people with curiosity and purpose. Your mind is like fertile soil. If you plant weeds, useless information, negativity, distractions, you'll harvest struggles. But if you plant seeds of knowledge, principles, and strategies, you will harvest growth and wealth. It's not about having all the answers at once, but committing to a daily habit of feeding your mind what it needs to grow. I remember early on, I dedicated just 10 minutes every day to reading a financial book or listening to a talk about wealth. It wasn't much at first, but over time, those small sessions transformed my thinking and my actions. Soon, the principles I learned became second nature, guiding every financial decision I made. The key is consistency. Don't wait until you have time or money to study wealth. Make studying part of your routine. Choose to learn from those who have walked the path before you. By doing this, you not only gain knowledge, but you also adopt the mindset necessary to think and act like the wealthy. Wealth begins in the mind before it appears in the bank. Feed your mind principles, not distractions, and watch how your financial life transforms. This is how you build a fortune, not just by working harder, but by learning smarter every day. Dreams are beautiful, but dreams alone won't build wealth. What turns a dream into reality is a clear goal written down, detailed, and given a deadline. When I was starting out, I realized that without a target, my efforts scattered like leaves in the wind. But once I wrote down exactly what I wanted and by when, everything changed. Suddenly, every decision, every action had purpose. The 3% don't just hope for wealth, they set specific financial goals that light a fire within them. It's not vague or wishful thinking, it's clarity. How much money do you want to have saved in 1 year? What about 5 years? Why does it matter? When you connect your goals to deep reasons, whether freedom, family, or legacy, you find motivation that keeps you moving forward, even when challenges arise. Breaking big goals into small, manageable steps is the secret that few understand. You don't climb a mountain in one leap. You take it one step at a time. Monthly, weekly, and even daily actions add up. Invest a little more this week. Learn something new about money today. Cut an unnecessary expense tomorrow. These daily habits build momentum and keep your vision alive. Each morning, remind yourself of your goals, visualize them, feel the excitement of the success you're working toward. This simple habit sets the tone for your day, aligning your actions with your purpose. The mind craves clarity. When you give it direction, it works tirelessly to achieve it. Without clear goals and deadlines, your financial future will drift aimlessly. But with them, you turn intention into action, potential into progress, and hope into wealth. You'll be surprised how much you can accomplish when your mind is focused and your heart is committed. Let clarity lead your steps, and wealth will follow naturally. Wealth isn't truly wealth until it's shared. When you keep your financial journey to yourself, you limit its power. The 3% understand that building wealth isn't just a personal victory, it's a legacy. Teaching others what you've learned magnifies your success in ways money alone cannot. I remember when I first started talking openly about money with my family and friends. Not only did it help them, but it deepened my own commitment and understanding. Passing down financial wisdom to your children or mentoring someone who's eager to learn creates a ripple effect. It's like planting seeds that will grow far beyond your own lifetime. When you make wealth a shared mission, it becomes more than numbers. It becomes a culture, a value system that shapes generations. This is where true financial freedom lies, not just in what you keep, but in what you give. Accountability is a powerful force. When you share your goals with others, you create a network of support that keeps you honest and motivated. It's easy to let discipline slip when you're alone, but when you're part of a community or have a mentor, you're more likely to stay on track. I've always found that the people who talk about their plans, who open themselves to feedback, move faster and further than those who try to go it alone. Wealth is not a secret to hoard, but a story to tell, a tool to empower. The 97% may focus on consumption and keeping things to themselves. But the 3% know that teaching, sharing, and accountability turn money into something far greater, a lasting legacy. Build your wealth? Yes, but also build the people around you. Teach what you learn. Share your struggles and your victories. Stay accountable to your goals and to those who believe in you. That's how you ensure your success isn't just a moment, but a movement that outlives you. Most people are trapped in the cycle of wanting it now, wanting the weekend, the quick buy, the instant upgrade. That's why 97% stay broke. They're living for immediate gratification. But the 3%, the ones who build lasting wealth, they understand a simple truth. Wealth is a long game. It's about investing in time, not just money. You see, the rich learn to delay pleasure today so that tomorrow brings them freedom multiplied. When I was starting out, I knew that skipping the fancy car or the latest gadget wasn't easy. I had to choose between impressing others or investing in my future. I chose the latter. It wasn't glamorous, but it was smart. That $300 I saved from skipping a night out didn't just sit in my pocket. It went into stocks, into a business, into education. Over time, those dollars compounded. It's the power of delayed gratification.